Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Gravitas with me, Raisha Singh. Our cover story tonight is from West Asia, where Israel has opened a new front in Gaza for the first time in 21 months. The Israeli troops have entered Deir Al-Balah, a city that is home to 8 groups, civilians and Israeli hostages. From the Russia-Ukraine war, we will tell you how Russia has attacked Kiev with stealth missiles carrying cluster munition warhead. And from India, we will tell you about Indian Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar's sudden resignation and what it means as it sends shockwaves through Delhi's political corridors. All that and a lot more lined up for you on the show tonight. Let's get you started. Israel has launched a new phase of its military operation in Gaza, sending troops for the first time into the central city of Deir Al-Balah, a city that until now had largely escaped both major ground operations and widespread destruction throughout the 21-month-long war. But that status appears to have now changed. Israeli tanks advanced into the southern and eastern neighborhoods of Deir Al-Balah yesterday, reportedly setting off heavy shelling. According to Gaza's health authorities, 3 Palestinians died and several others sustained injuries after tank shelling reportedly hit 8 homes and 3 mosques in the city. Visuals from on ground in Deir Al-Balah show thick smoke rising and empty streets. Palestinians living in the central Gazan city have reportedly now started rushing west towards the coastline and nearby Khan Yunis, perhaps joining millions of Gazans already displaced by the war. The Gaza war has reportedly displaced around 90% of its citizens, with many forced to flee multiple times in a span of 21 months.
Evacuation order for the population. After, yes, for the first time.
This is our 10th displacement from Khan Yunis to Rafah, from Rafah to the European hospital, then here, and now from here to the coastal area. It's enough. We want to live in peace. We don't want wars because they have only brought us destruction.
I still don't know where I'll go. Every time displacement happens again, and we can't find water or toilets. It's extremely difficult. And aside from the war itself, we are also facing a war for food.
Israel has reportedly claimed its latest ground push in Deir Al-Balah aims to ramp up pressure on Hamas to release hostages. It is believed that at least 20 of the 50 remaining captives are alive, possibly being held in the central Gazan city of Deir Al-Balah. And that suspicion, according to reports, had delayed Israel from launching any direct incursion into this area until now. The main group representing hostages' family said it was shocked and alarmed by the IDF operations in Deir Al-Balah and demanded answers from Israeli leaders. Meanwhile, in the northern parts of the Gaza Strip, an Israeli tank shelling allegedly struck a tent encampment near the Shati refugee camp. That's when people were sleeping.
By God, people were sleeping. Nothing had happened and they were sleeping. A shell, I don't know if it was from a tank or a plane. We're not an army facing another army, people.
Local health officials report at least 12 people were killed and dozens more were injured. Gazan medics allege that Israeli tanks fired 2 rounds directly at tents sheltering displaced families. Israel is yet to respond to the incident. And global frustration with Israel's action is also rising. A joint statement by 29 countries, including the United Kingdom and France, have called for an immediate end to the war in Gaza. These countries have condemned Israel's restrictions on humanitarian aid and are now urging the release of the remaining hostages in Gaza. The statement perhaps reflects growing global impatience as the humanitarian situation in Gaza continues to worsen and the political endgame remains unclear. The Arab League permanent members also held a meeting in Egypt's capital about the humanitarian situation in Gaza. While on the other hand, Israel's government appears to be taking a rather unusual step to shape global opinion. According to a report in the Israeli daily Haaretz, the Israeli Foreign Ministry is funding a tour of the country for 16 social media influencers from the United States of America. Now, these influencers, all under 30 and reportedly aligned with US President Donald Trump's MAGA and America First movements, are expected to promote pro-Israel narrative to their millions of online followers. Reportedly, not just that, also disseminate messaging that aligns with the Israeli government's policy, especially among young Americans. Now, with ceasefire talks stalled and the fighting intensifying, the future for Gaza's population continues to remain uncertain and dire. Well, Meta is under scrutiny for hosting ads that appear to be raising money for the Israeli army, for the IDF. According to research reported in the British Daily Guardian, Facebook, Instagram and Threads have carried paid advertisements from pro-Israel groups raising funds for equipment like tactical gear and drones for the IDF. A global consumer watchdog reportedly uncovered and flagged at least 117 such ads that since March this year. Now, these advertisements directly sought donations for Israeli military hardware, reportedly marking the second time the same watchdog has reported similar content to Meta. A previous investigation in December 2024 resulted in 98 flagged ads, many of which Meta removed at that time. Despite that action, Meta reportedly allowed the publishers to return with nearly identical ads. While the Israeli military is not directly running these campaigns, the ads appear to call for donations that benefit IDF combat units. After being contacted by the British newspaper and the watchdog organization, Meta reviewed and removed several of the latest ads. But nearly 100 ads reportedly remain active, seeking funds for specific models of civilian drones for the Israeli army. Now, these same drone models have allegedly been used in attacks by Israel against Palestinians. Meta's policies explicitly bans most ads related to firearms, explosives, and any kind of lethal equipment. However, the company reportedly removed the flagged ads not because of the military content itself, but due to missing disclaimers required for sensitive ads. Our next story is about Ukraine, a country caught between relentless strikes and stalled diplomacy. In the south, Russian drones have left scorched streets and shattered lives in Odessa, and in Kiev, a missile nearly turned a quiet neighborhood into a crater as bomb squads race to disarm its deadly warhead. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is growing impatient with NATO's promises. And as he pushes for new peace talks, the Kremlin is not budging. On Tuesday, local officials said that Russian drone strike ignited a massive fire in a parking lot in Odessa, destroying several cars and damaging a nearby supermarket. Emergency services released footage showing firefighters battling flames that engulfed the lot. Visuals showed police cordoning off the damaged area, the damaged supermarket as well. And just a day earlier, another close call in Kiev. Ukraine's state emergency services released these images on Monday. A team from its Mobile Rescue Rapid Response Center carefully disarming the warhead of a Russian Kh-69 stealth cruise missile shot down during a massive overnight attack on Kiev by Russia. This warhead carried cluster munitions, requiring bomb disposal experts to use specialist equipment to handle and transport it safely to a demolition area. The missile landed in the yard of a residential home. The Kh-69 missile is Russia's newest stealth cruise missile, launched from advanced fighter jets like the Su-57. It has a range of up to 290 kilometers, possibly 400 kilometers, and carries 8 high-explosive or cluster munition warheads. It was first used against Ukraine earlier this year, that's in February, striking the Tripela thermal power plant. And now, military experts call this attack by Russia as its answer, that is, to Western missiles like the Storm Shadow or JASSM. But its use of cluster munitions on purely civilian targets in Ukraine has now raised alarm, with experts warning that unexploded fragments can remain deadly long after impact. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is frustrated with NATO's military spending promises. Speaking to Ukrainian ambassadors on Monday, Zelensky said his country is yet to see any kind of benefits from NATO's plan to ramp up military spending to 5% of GDP. Now, the EU recently opened access to a $163.6 million SAFE fund. But Zelensky says no actual funds have reached Ukraine yet, despite 10 countries expressing readiness. But Europe remains divided. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has slammed the EU's budget, claiming it caters only to Ukraine. He has now expressed his doubts, saying, and I quote him here, "This budget would destroy the European Union." It's not surprising, since Orban, unlike most European Union leaders, is known for his rather combative stance towards both Ukraine and other EU backers. Meanwhile, as Zelensky pushes for new peace talks with Russia, the Kremlin on Tuesday perhaps poured cold water on that, on hopes of a breakthrough. Today, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has said that, and I'm quoting here, "There's no reason to expect miracles from a proposed third round of direct Russia-Ukraine talks." And I'm quoting again as to what he said, "We intend to ensure our interest there is a lot of work to be done before top-level meetings are possible." With Russia clearly dismissing hopes for talks and their own leader busy complaining about lack of help, the daily reality remains the same for ordinary Ukrainians. And that is, missiles keep raining down and peace talks remain stalled. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar's sudden resignation, citing health reasons, has sent shockwaves through Delhi's political corridors. The abrupt move, announced on the very first day of the monsoon session, caught both the ruling party and the opposition off guard, prompting immediate huddles and strategy resets. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's brief acknowledgement on social media in a measured statement stating that Dhankar had served in various capacities stood out. The subdued tone of the message sparked curiosity and unease in political circles, leading to murmurs about underlying tensions. Only hours before stepping down on Monday, Dhankar had interacted with several senior leaders, reportedly giving no indication of any health issues or any kind of imminent departure. His sudden exit has fueled questions about timing and motive, especially from opposition benches.
This looks like one of those Soviet-style resignations when in those days when high-ranking officials were asked to go citing medical reasons.
ओपेसिटी इनका हॉलमार्क हो गया है, गैर पारदर्शिता। कोई निर्णय क्यों होता है, क्यों कोई व्यक्ति बीच अपने कार्यकाल में इस्तीफा दे देते हैं, ये पूरी सरकार पर प्रश्न है।
ये विपक्ष है, इनका काम है बोलना। किसी भी बात को, किसी के स्वास्थ्य का भी मजाक उड़ा सकते हैं, उस पर भी राजनीति कर सकते हैं।
देखिए, माननीय उपराष्ट्रपति जी का इस्तीफा एक तरीके से हम सभी के लिए, चाहे हमारी सरकार हो या विपक्ष के साथी हो, सभी के लिए शॉकिंग है, सरप्राइजिंग है। किसी को भी जानकारी नहीं थी, अचानक ही सबको ऐसी जानकारी मिली, क्योंकि कल संसद के पहले दिन भी राज्यसभा का पूरा संचालन उन्होंने कार्रवाई का किया, तो ऐसे में अप्रत्याशित है। लेकिन साथ में उन्होंने जो कारण दिया है वो सही भी प्रतीत होता है, क्योंकि पिछले कई बार ऐसी घटनाएं हुई जब हमने देखा कि उनके स्वास्थ्य की समस्या हुई, तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि स्वास्थ्य के चलते ही उन्होंने ये कदम उठाया है। और
The Congress has linked the resignation to the absence of two key ministers, JP Nadda and Kiren Rijiju, from a crucial business advisory committee meeting. Both the senior ministers have since clarified that both had informed Dhankar about being preoccupied with other parliamentary duties. The meeting, earlier scheduled for Monday, has now been postponed to Wednesday. Some political pundits are also pointing at the hurried manner in which Dhankar accepted the notice of impeachment of Justice Verma prepared by the opposition. This came as a surprise to the ruling NDA, as the government was planning to bring in a notice shortly in the Lok Sabha. Ravi Shankar Prasad had submitted a letter to the Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla with bipartisan backing, with 152 members, including leader of the opposition Rahul Gandhi, signing the notice. While Dhankar cited health concerns and health reasons, the opposition insists the reasons run far deeper. Dhankar, who is 74 years old, assumed office in August 2022 and had over 2 years left in his tenure. His time as Rajya Sabha chairman was marked by repeated clashes with the opposition, including a motion for his removal, perhaps a rare and combative chapter in parliamentary history. The Constitution remains silent on the appointment of an acting vice president. In such cases, the responsibilities of the Rajya Sabha chair automatically fall to the deputy chairman until a new vice president is elected. Harivansh Narayan Singh will preside over the upper house. What stood out most was the absence of a farewell address or ceremonial send-off. Dhankar's resignation letter simply stated that his departure was effective immediately, with President Draupadi Murmu formally accepting his resignation. The Election Commission will soon notify the election procedure for a new Vice President. The Electoral College comprises members of both Houses of Parliament. The decision on Dhankar's successor will be a politically calculated one, especially with the BJP-led NDA holding a parliamentary majority, and it comes at a time when the government is navigating delicate alliance equations and perhaps gearing up for crucial state polls. As the war in Ukraine rages on, European nations are fortifying their defenses like never before. Romania is now set to become the first country in Europe to acquire Israel's Iron Dome air defense system, a move that shows just how real the threat of war feels in Europe. And that's since Russia sent troops to Ukraine in 2022. NATO's eastern members have been on a high alert. Romania, which shares a long border with Ukraine, has seen Russian drone fragments fall on its territory multiple times. For them, for Romanians, it's a reminder of how close the war is. This week, Romania signed a deal with Israeli defense company Rafale to buy 6 advanced anti-aircraft systems, including Israel's Iron Dome. The agreement is worth over 2 billion euros or $2.3 billion. The Iron Dome is best known for protecting Israeli cities like Tel Aviv from rocket attacks by intercepting them mid-air. The Romanian defense minister said that these systems would similarly shield Romanian cities, airports, and even military bases. But it's not just Romania. Across Europe, countries are ramping up their defense budgets. NATO members are buying fighter jets, missile systems, and drones to prepare for any escalation. Not just Romania, Poland has doubled its defense budget. Finland has built new border fences after joining NATO. The Baltics have stationed thousands of NATO troops. Even Sweden, which remained neutral, is rearming. Russia, however, has dismissed European fears of invading them as Western paranoia and called these moves unnecessary provocations. But Romania knows it sits on a fault line. The Black Sea has already become a battlefield between Ukraine and Russia. From drone attacks on ships to strikes on coastal cities, Romania could easily be dragged into the conflict if fighting spills further west. Just last year, Romania signed a $6.5 billion deal with the US to buy 32 F-35 fighter jets, replacing its aging Soviet-era arsenal. And now, with the Iron Dome coming in from Israel, Romania's message is loud and clear. It is preparing for a worst-case scenario, even if it hopes it never arrives. But is this just Western paranoia, or are NATO's fears justified? Judging by the Kremlin's reaction, which has repeatedly dismissed these defense build-ups as unnecessary provocations, the question remains: will NATO's growing military shield, despite warnings from Moscow, end up provoking the very conflict it seeks to prevent? Well, that we'll have to wait and watch. Well, let's tell you what else lined for you on the show tonight. Well, here on Gravitas, we have been telling you about the growth of AI and how it has gripped daily lives. But tonight, we will tell you what happens when the very same AI goes rogue or berserk. We will also tell you about the 11th edition of the Canine Premier League, kick-started by the Indian Army in the Kashmir Valley.
It started with a match between BCC Reds and Pakistan border.
From the United Kingdom, we'll tell you why billionaires are leaving the country and what are their reasons. Well, as the Ukraine-Russia war drags on and Moscow gains new ground, Europe is leaving no chance to step up its defenses. For the first time in 17 years, the US has stationed nuclear weapons in Britain that can be carried by its new F-35A fighter jets. According to reports, an American C-17 transport aircraft undertook a 10-hour flight from Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico to Rav Lake Heaton in Suffolk to deliver B-61 nuclear bombs. The base is home to Air Force units and military personnel. The deployment on US nukes on British soil is being seen as the biggest expansion of UK's nuclear deterrence since the end of the Cold War. UK has bought a new squadron of 12 F-35A jets from the US, which can be deployed with the US's B-61 nuclear bombs in the event of a crisis. The deployment is a shot in the arm for NATO, whose nuclear deterrence relies massively on the US. It has deployed several hundred warheads in countries across Europe, primarily at locations in Germany, Italy, Belgium, Turkey, and the Netherlands. And that is to serve as a deterrent for the continent. Kremlin reacted to reports of deployment of US nukes in the United Kingdom, with spokesperson Dmitry Peskov calling it an escalation of tensions. What has also roiled Moscow are reports of Germany mulling to buy Typhoon missile systems from the US. If the deal goes through, Germany would become the first European country to buy the land-based missile launcher from the US. The Typhoon missile system will enable Berlin to field Tomahawk cruise missiles and SM-6 naval interceptors from land platforms, majorly boosting NATO's strike capabilities in Europe. Iran has made it clear that it will not abandon its uranium enrichment program despite severe damage from recent airstrikes by Israel and the US. Well, in an interview with Fox News, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi emphasized that Tehran considers the nuclear program as a matter of national pride and scientific achievement.
It's now stopped because, yes, damages are serious and severe, but obviously we cannot give up our enrichment because it is an achievement of our own scientists, and now more than that, it is a question of national pride.
Further stating that while nuclear operations have stopped due to major destruction, Iran has no plans to permanently halt enrichment. Araghchi said that Iran remains open to renewing talks with Washington, but not through direct talks at this time. Early this year, US and Iranian negotiators held multiple rounds of talks on the nuclear issue of Iran. These efforts marked a tentative return to diplomacy. That's 7 years after US President Donald Trump, in his first term, withdrew the United States from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or the JCPOA. Tehran, however, has consistently insisted that its nuclear enrichment is focused only on civilian purposes. The US and Iran engaged in talks as recently as May to reach a new deal, but all those talks abruptly collapsed after Israel launched surprise airstrikes on Iranian military and nuclear installations on June 13th. The US then joined the offensive with Israel and struck 3 Iranian nuclear sites, later claiming that the coordinated bombings had delayed Iran's nuclear capabilities by up to 2 years. In a post on his official Truth Social account, Trump reacted to Araghchi's interview and stated that the American bombing had severely damaged Iran's key nuclear facilities, warning that Washington would attack again if required, if necessary, unquote. According to the Iranian foreign minister, Iran's Atomic Energy Organization is assessing how much enriched material may have been affected by the bombings. Araghchi said Iran plans to share its findings with the International Atomic Energy Agency once the evaluation is complete. Diplomatic talks on the nuclear issue continue. Iran is now expected to meet representatives from France, Britain and Germany in Istanbul on Friday, marking the 7th round of talks between Tehran and the European trio since September last year, and the first since mid-May. British F-35B stealth fighter jet, which remained stranded in southern India's state of Kerala's Trivandrum airport for more than 5 weeks, has finally taken off. The aircraft is reportedly now en route to Darwin in northern Australia after undergoing extensive repairs. The jet belonging to the British Royal Air Force had landed in India on June 14th after being diverted mid-mission. That's due to poor weather conditions over the Indian Ocean. Shortly after landing, the jet developed a technical issue that kept it stuck on Indian soil, prompting global attention. A team of UK engineers arrived in Trivandrum on July 6th to fix the problem. And after weeks of inspection and repair work, the team cleared the aircraft for flight. The British High Commission confirmed the jet's departure this morning and stated that all safety protocols had been followed. The F-35 jet was a part of the fleet of HMS Prince of Wales, the British Royal Navy's aircraft carrier. While UK has not officially given any reason why the jet was heading to Darwin, the likelihood is that the authorities want the carrier to be stationed in nearby waters. Earlier, engineers of the aircraft carrier had failed to fix this issue. The UK Ministry of Defence later deployed a 14-member technical team to India to complete the repairs. At one point, there was growing speculation that the aircraft might have to be dismantled and transported on a C-17 Globemaster cargo plane if on-site repairs prove to be unsuccessful. Built by Lockheed Martin, the F-35B is a fifth-generation stealth fighter jet known for its short takeoff and vertical landing capabilities. With a price tag of around $110 million, the jet's extended stays in India even drew attention in the UK Parliament. Images of the jet sitting idle under Kerala's monsoon rains went viral on social media. Kerala Tourism, in a post on X, showed the jet beside palm trees with the tagline, "Kerala, the destination you'll never want to leave." Well, Russia is quietly cashing in on its precious metals, and China is buying almost all of it. As Western sanctions shut Russia out of major trading hubs, Beijing is stepping in, filling Moscow's coffers with billions. Russian exports of precious metals to China have almost doubled, and that's in just the first half of this year. According to new trade data, Chinese imports of Russian gold, silver and other precious metal ores jumped 80% to reach $1 billion. That's compared to the same period last year. The main reason, if you're wondering, gold prices are increasing, up nearly 28% this year, according to experts. Heightened geopolitical tensions, global trade risks, as well as continued buying by central banks and ETFs, all these factors have driven this surge. Remember, Russia is the world's second largest gold manufacturer, churning out over 300 tons annually. But since the war started in Ukraine in 2022, Russia has been cut off from Western trading hubs like London and New York. And this has forced Russia to find other markets. The West's sanctions were meant to isolate Russia economically, but instead, China has emerged as a crucial buyer, providing Russia with the revenue streams that the West hoped to choke off. While the Bank of Russia, which was once the world's biggest central bank buyer of gold, has not resumed large-scale purchases, China has stepped in to fill that gap. As a result, at home, Russian gold miners are seeing record domestic demand. As citizens turn to precious metals to protect their savings from inflation as well as sanctions, induced market volatility, and it's not just gold at this point of time. Russia's nickel, a global giant in palladium and platinum, has also ramped up its exports to China. Prices for palladium have reportedly jumped 38% just this year. Meanwhile, platinum is up 59%. So what does all of this mean? Can we say China is now funding Russia's war economy, albeit indirectly, by buying up its metals? Could this shift in metal flows reshape the global precious metal markets? Well, much has been written and spoken about the virtues of AI, of artificial intelligence. But what happens when the very same AI goes rogue, or even worse, absolutely berserk? We're about to tell you that. To test the waters of how far can AI really go, an AI coding assistant built by software company Replete was engaged to build an app. Save it went too far. So much so that it deleted a live database completely. It did not just stop there. The AI coding assistant also generated over 4,000 fake users with fabricated data. The incident unfolded during a 12-day vibe coding experiment by Jason Limkin, an investor in software startups. Describing the incident in a LinkedIn video, Limkin flagged that the AI tool concealed code bugs by generating false reports and results, ignoring repeated instructions, and even lied about it blatantly. In a public statement, Replete's CEO addressed the incident, calling it unacceptable, and even apologized for it. He also pledged that immediate action will be taken to avert such issues in the future. But the damage has already been done. This has sparked questions. Number one, how reliable is AI really? And can it really be dependent on for performing crucial tasks? And most importantly, how safe is it for users who often trust AI with important and critical data that can make or break businesses or other enterprises quite literally? Reports suggest close to 30 million users rely on Replete alone, making it one of the widely used AI coding platforms worldwide. Time and again, AI tools have come under fire. Back in May, Anthropic's latest AI model displayed extreme blackmail behavior, and that's during a test conducted to gauge AI's ability to manipulate. And so have OpenAI, with 3 of its advanced models reportedly sabotaging a shutdown attempt. It has also posed fresh concerns over the future of AI coding itself, which involves the use of AI in software development. While some companies continue to scale up, AI-related mishaps like this have generated skepticism regarding the efficacy of AI. What's the way forward? We'll have to wait and watch. All right, Bangladesh is grieving. Dhaka air tragedy, which has claimed 31 lives, mostly children, has left the nation numb. It raises tough questions on what led to the crash in the first place.
We want justice! We want justice! We want justice! We want justice!
Hundreds of students are demonstrating near the crash site in Dhaka, shattered by tragedy. The students demand accountability, calls for compensation for victims' families, and halting training flights are echoing across Dhaka.
We are standing here to show solidarity to this protest. We have some demands. We want the government to listen to those. Our first demand is that the actual number of bodies should not be kept a secret. This is our primary demand.
25 students were among the victims of the air accident. The jet crashed shortly after it took off from an Air Force base in the capital. The classes were underway when the crash happened at Milestone School and College campus in Dhaka, when a training aircraft of the Bangladesh Air Force crashed over the building. Bangladesh Armed Forces say the plane experienced a mechanical failure which resulted in its crash. A high-level probe is underway to assess the exact cause of the crash. According to a report by Dhaka Tribune, the Bangladesh Air Force has recorded 27 crashes involving fighter jets and trainer aircraft since 1992. This, a troubling number that I've just told you, underscores persistent safety concerns in Bangladesh. The fateful incident, now deemed one of Bangladesh's worst aerial disasters, has once again placed the spotlight firmly on China-made fighter jets, especially the controversial Chengdu F-7 series. The Chengdu J-7, also known by its export designation F-7, has a long service history marked by a series of crashes across various air forces that have operated it. Over the years, various incidents involving engine failures, technical malfunctions and pilot error have been reported. Last month, a Myanmar Chengdu J-7 fighter jet crashed under unknown circumstances in Safang region. While China has discontinued the J-7 series in 2013, it had begun exporting the upgraded F-7 BGI version to countries like Bangladesh before that. On to the United Kingdom now. More and more billionaires are staging an exit from the UK, citing discontent over fiscal and tax policies. And shipping tycoon John Fredrickson is now the very latest to join the list. According to a report by the Forbes, formerly the UK's 9th richest individual, Fredrickson is selling his 300-year-old Georgian estate in London for $337 million. This comes weeks after he slammed Britain following controversial tax reforms. But first, let's give you a tour of the rather opulent house that Fredrickson has put up for sale. His 30,000 square foot estate is one of Britain's most expensive private homes, featuring 10 bedrooms, a ballroom and 2 acres of lush gardens. And now, his exodus to the United Arab Emirates indicates a worrying pattern of individuals with high net worth leaving the UK, many of whom blame lack of enough financial incentives to stay back in the UK. Just last year, an estimated 10,800 millionaires left the country, marking a 157% increase compared to the previous year. This reportedly makes the UK second only to China, and that's in terms of millionaire outflows globally. And in 2025, it may even grow worse, with Henley and Partners, a UK investment migration consultancy, estimating that 16,500 millionaires could depart if the situation does not change, thus suggesting a massive wealth drain. The rampant billionaire and millionaire exodus, not just in UK but other places such as the US and even Africa, has raised alarms about economic competitiveness, uncertainty and changing political dynamics driving the migration. Will this trend persist? Well, coming days will reveal more. Well, dogs are known for their superior sense of smell. They're also known to be aware of forthcoming dangers. And now it appears trained dogs can sniff out Parkinson's disease years before symptoms appear. Our next story telling you more.
In the battle against the Parkinson's, we have a new ally, man's best friend. Forget MRIs and blood tests, golden retrievers and Labradors are now sniffing out the disease in human scent. 2 dogs, Bumper and Peanut, trained by medical detection dogs along with the universities of Bristol and Manchester, have demonstrated an uncanny ability to distinguish the oily skin secretions of Parkinson's patients from those without the disease. The dogs achieved up to 80% sensitivity, accurately identifying those with Parkinson's, and a staggering 98% specificity, correctly ruling out those who do not have it. Parkinson's often lies dormant for decades before motor symptoms appear. Early intervention can significantly slow its relentless progression, yet diagnostic tools remain primitive. Now these canine heroes are able to flag an invisible threat much earlier. Earlier research has already proven dogs can accurately detect other major diseases, including various forms of cancer, diabetes, and even impending migraines. Clearly a new horizon, if opening up for medical science. Thanks to our canine friends, they are truly a man's best friend.
You must have heard the saying that age is just a number, but this 88-year-old from India's Chandigarh is proving that neither age nor rank should stop one from doing what feels right or the responsible thing to do. Inderjeet Singh Sidhu, the retired DIG of Punjab Police, is collecting praises for leading a cleanliness drive all by himself. In the video that has now gone viral, he can be seen picking up garbage and waste from the streets of his locality in Chandigarh, putting it all in a cart and pulling it along the road. His efforts directed to keep the city spick and span at an age where many would perhaps choose comfort and convenience. Singh chose hard work and resilience, something that drives him to the streets and keep them litter-proof every single day.
मुझे अच्छा लगता है साफ जगह, तो साफ करने की कोशिश करता हूँ। जो पर्टिकुलर ये पार्किंग है मार्केट की, तो सफाई हो तो अच्छा रहेगा। अगर गंद पड़ा है या ऐसे ही है तो फिर बुरा लगेगा। किसी देश में बाहर जाओ, फिल्म वगैरह देखो, उनके फर्श साफ होते हैं और हमारा इंडिया में गड़बड़ है, तो अच्छा अभी कंपटीशन होता है सफाई का ऑल इंडिया में। अब इंडिया में चंडीगढ़ नंबर 2 आया है।
His efforts have been lauded by many, including the chairman of the Mahindra Group, Anand Mahindra. In a post, Mahindra gave a shout-out to the 88-year-old retired police officer and his selfless service towards community cleanliness. He also mentioned that, unhappy with Chandigarh's slide in ranking of the cleanest cities across India, Singh took on the mantle himself, making a quiet statement of making a world a better place to live in. And the messaging is bang on, with Singh now serving a dose of inspiration for many now to take up the work instead of waiting for someone else to do it and be the change that one wants to see happening. This is also serves as a gentle reminder that purpose to do something meaningful is just a corner away, only if one is looking with care and intent. Well, to engage the youth of Kashmir Valley into various sports activities, the Indian Army has kick-started the 11th edition of Chinar Premier League. Over 64 teams of youngsters are a part of the Chinar Premier League. The Indian Army says that its aim is to engage youth of the valley and foster their talent. Take a look.
The Chinar Premier League features 64 amateur teams from across the valley, especially from the border areas and districts. It provides a platform for the youth to showcase their talent. The opening match was played at the General Bipin Rawat Stadium in Baramulla, named in honor of India's first Chief of Defence Staff. The league started with a match between BCC Reds and Karna Tigers, a team representing the village which is located on the India-Pakistan border. This symbolizes the deep grassroots outreach of the tournament.
46RR की तरफ से
This is a big initiative by the Indian Army. We as sports people welcome this initiative, and it's a huge initiative and is a mini IPL of Kashmir. It covers the whole of Kashmir, which includes teams from Kazigund to Uri and Karna to Kupwara and Tangmarg. It's a very exciting step, and we also welcome the teams who have joined the tournament.
हमारे जितने भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं
People in huge numbers came to witness the opening match. The matches are being live streamed on various social media platforms as well. The locals from North Kashmir have welcomed this step and said this league provides an important platform for the youth to showcase their talent.
जो रोल किया गया 46RR
Chinar Premier League was kick-started by the Indian Army. Teams from across various parts of the valley are participating in the league. Sports is being promoted nicely by the Indian Army. It's not only a tournament but also a platform for the young to showcase their talent so that they can represent the country at national and international level.
फेस्टिवल के तौर
The matches will be played across Bipin Rawat Stadium and Shaukat Ali College Ground Stadium, Khwaja Bagh in Baramulla district.
The aim of starting the cricket league is to engage the youngsters of the Kashmir Valley into sports activity and also provide them with a platform so that they can tomorrow play at the national as well as international levels. With video journalist Firoz Idris Sloan for WION World is One.
Well, in a universe where black holes are the ultimate cosmic predators, a star's survival seems beyond the realm of science fiction. This week, astronomers shattered our universe's most deadly predator, a star tangled with a supermassive black hole and lived to blaze another day. Take a look at these fascinating encounters.
In a universe ruled by crushing gravity, one star defied the rules. Forget everything you thought you knew about black holes. These celestial monsters swallow all that comes near, light, matter, even the very laws of physics, turning them into shrouded enigmas at the heart of our galaxies. But something extraordinary just happened. An international team led by Tel Aviv University has witnessed a star-cheat death not once, but twice. A cosmic Houdini act that defies the textbooks. In 2022, astronomers detected a brilliant flash signaling a tidal disruption event where a star is torn apart. Then 2 years later, the same flash lit up the sky again, at the exact spot, proving the star hadn't been consumed. It had survived this cosmic ambush and returned challenging decades of astrophysical doctrine. In essence, this observation shows not everything is instantly devoured by a black hole. In this case, the star is actually orbiting along an elongated path, returning every 700 days to face its nemesis. Each closed pass, the black hole rips away. A portion, yet it leaves the core intact to wheel out into deep space, battered but unbeaten. Astronomers are gearing up. High-precision sky surveys, optical telescopes, X-ray monitors. They're all tuned for that next flash scheduled in 2027. Every such event offers an unrivaled laboratory to probe the physics of gravity near the edge of space-time.
A historic chapter in Indian Air Force history has come to a close. After 62 years of distinguished service, the legendary MiG-21 fighter jet has officially retired from active duty. The final aircraft belonging to the 23 Squadron, also known as the Panthers, will be decommissioned at a special ceremony at the Chandigarh base. The MiG-21 holds the record for the longest service in IAF history, over 62 years. It was inducted in 1963 on a trial basis and then went on to become the backbone of IAF's fighter fleet. The aircraft took part in every major conflict, from the 1965 war with Pakistan to the 2019 Balakot airstrike against terror camps in Pakistan. It has contributed majorly to India's air defense. The phasing out of the MiG-21 fleet comes after various crashes in recent years. The MiG-21 has earned the dubious label there of the flying coffin, and that's due to several fatal accidents. As per government data, over 500 MiG-21s have crashed in the last 60 years, killing over 170 pilots. The reasons for the crashes have been several, from technical defects, human error, or spatial disorientation. According to defense officials, the LCA Mark 1A aircraft would be replacing the MiG-21s in the RAF. The squadrons operating the MiG-21 plane are currently in Rajasthan's Null Air Force Base. And with that, we slip into a very short break, but thanks very much for staying with us. You are watching WION World is One. Do stay tuned.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide, because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One. From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more